panel now. Liberal MP Tim Wilson, Labor's Peter Khalil. Tim, interventions from Nick Greiner, other senior Liberals cabinet ministers supporting the yes vote. This is quite a significant intervention this time of as the campaign begins, really in earnest.
Well, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, when it comes down to thinking about liberalism, liberalism is anchored in the idea that individuals come together, form stable, committed unions and relationships as a foundation for family, community and country. So I think a yes vote, and I've said this many times before, is resolutely a liberal ideal. Not only are we the best people to deliver a change under this government led by Malcolm Turnbull, but in addition to that, we're also the best government and the best position to manage some of the other issues that may arise, like protecting religious liberty. So yes, a vote for yes is a vote for commitment and responsibility, and also for religious liberty.
And also the message from Nick Greiner, Tim Wilson, was interesting in the sense that he was going to core Liberal Party and conservative values in advocating his case.
Well, that's always been the foundation of the yes case to me. It's built on this idea of having a society built out of committed unions and recognising and respecting individuals, their freedom to live their lives, but also as a part of a mutually supportive society. So Nick Greiner has made that case in the Australian today. Others have made it before. I'm kind of surprised, frankly, it's news on one level, because it's always been the foundations of why there should be a case for a change in the law and why people should vote yes.
Peter Khalil, your thoughts on where the debate's at right now? And it seems certainly Labor and those advocating support for marriage equality like Tim seem to be unifying and very much the favourite according to the polls.
I'm really impressed with Tim today. He's very professional. I'm a Collingwood supporter and he's a Melbourne Demons supporter. We not only beat them, we knocked them out of the finals. But good on Nick Greiner.
Peter, we had a wonderful victory earlier in the season when we beat you by 4 points. But keep going back. Say something nice about our federal president.
Good on Nick Greiner. He's come out and showed some real leadership in this debate. We don't even have to go through all this whole process if we just had the bill go through Parliament. So I salute his efforts, and we obviously were encouraging people to get out and enrol and to vote yes, because equality before the law shouldn't matter what your gender, your sexual preference, your faith or your ethnicity is.
Tim Wilson, you comfortable with this move today for asylum seekers here, brought here for medical treatment? The department, government people I've been speaking to say the problem is that they're not going to, or they refuse to leave, and hence this tough approach that's being taken. But is it too tough, basically throwing people on the street?
Well, firstly, I don't agree with your characterisation of throwing people on the streets. I've actually looked into this. My instinct, obviously somebody who cares about the interests of refugees and asylum seekers, is to make sure that we provide and support people who are fleeing persecution. The people who have arrived in Australia through these means have come for medical assistance reasons. They have received that medical treatment, but like with all visa classes, when people overstay or they're in breach of the terms, the government has to deal appropriately with making sure that we do not incentivise other people to do the same. So these are measures which are tough. They're firm. I'm sure they will enjoy, the people who are attracting these will enjoy community support, but they should also be honouring the terms and commitment and the basis that they've come to this country, because every spot that's taken by somebody who's overstaying their visa or doing the wrong thing is coming at the expense of a refugee who needs genuine support and needs to be free from persecution.
Peter Khalil, the opposition's been in lockstep really with the government on these issues, offshore processing and so on. This looks like a break in that bipartisanship, according to what I've heard from Mr Short in the last 24 hours. Yeah,
absolutely, Kieran. I don't understand how Tim could be defending this move. This is cruelty. It's needless. If the Prime Minister's trying to demonstrate that he's tough or looking tough, all he's actually demonstrating is that he's a weak Prime Minister. These people are here in Australia for medical reasons, there's serious health issues. And I've always said that we not only have a legal duty, but a moral and ethical duty to refugees and a duty of care.
Well, hold
on, I didn't interrupt you, Tim. This is a cruel, unnecessary and needless move by the government. They should be spending their time doing what they're supposed to do, which is to find third-party resettlement for these refugees on Manus and Nauru. And I might add, Kieran, that even in my first speech I outlined that we should be going further than this. We should be actually doing the work on the international stage for a regional, if not an international framework, working with other countries like Canada and other countries to actually increase our refugee intake. This government is actually demonstrating cruelty and weakness in making this move against the most vulnerable people who are genuine refugees.
Well, Kieran, clearly what we're
Tim
seeing is
Wilson,
there is
your
obviously
thoughts
division.
on that analysis, because that's the view that we've heard from refugee advocates and others. Just quickly, in 20 seconds or less, we've got to wrap up. Tim?
Well, clearly there's obviously now a division within Labor's ranks about this. The fundamental point, though, we've got...
No, there's no division.
We do have a moral and ethical duty to help and support people who are refugees. We also have to make sure that we don't incentivise people to do the wrong thing. People have received the medical treatment. That is critical in making sure they get the support and assistance. And we are working with countries to resettle them. I don't know if you've noticed, Peter, there's this big deal we've got with the United States negotiated to resettle people off Manus and Nauru into the United States for third country resettlement. So we're doing actually what you request. But we've got to make sure that we do it in a fair and even-handed way and not give preference to some people and not others.
Tim Wilson, Peter Khalil, we've got to wrap it up there. Appreciate your time, gents. I'm just joined by the Treasurer. We've got